What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Somewhat Sports Podcast. My name is Chris, and I am co-host of this illustrious but hidden podcast to most, and I'm joined by two of the greats in the industry that are also hidden but still great. Jurg and Dame, how are we today?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. It's a slow end to the week now. I mean, today kind of went fast for me, but this week is slowly winding down. We're about to be in the month of October, boys. Best month of the year, if you ask me. So, yeah, everything is good. It really is the end of the Somewhat Sports Summer of 2021. But hey, fall is going to be just as great. Fall is where we rise, gentlemen.
Wow, nice wordplay there, Dame.
It's not as great of an answer, but I'm good. Not happy to be back. Well, I'm happy to be back here doing the podcast, but I'm not happy to be back from my reporting on the Dallas Cowboys Monday night game. It was great. It was a good time, but here we are.
That's so sweet, Dame. Well, speaking of, you actually went to the Cowboys game, the Cowboys versus the Eagles. How was that?
Yes, I did. It was a rocking atmosphere. It was the first home game for the Cowboys this year, and Dak's first game back in Dallas. It was a great atmosphere. The place was packed. All these people, everyone was loud. Cowboys obviously won, played great on both sides of the ball. So overall, it was a great experience for me, and I definitely go back.
What a corporate answer, Jurg. You hear that? He's just so well mannered. Just everything. Yeah, perfect answer, Dame. Very good PR right there. But yeah, not a lot of news this week, to be honest. I mean, the whole Simmons saga is ongoing, and it's just like, are we gonna really talk about that? We're gonna be beating a dead horse until he actually gets traded. Um, I mean, and then we have Kyrie doing Kyrie things. I think that'll just talking about that will make me angry, and I don't know if I want that. So we have decided as a unit to just shoot the shit this week. We're just gonna have a laxed, ongoing, off the cuff podcast. Yeah, it's not really topic based. We're just gonna go off the dome. Yeah, anything in specific you guys want to talk about? Football, basketball, baseball. I know baseball's nearing its end of the regular season, right? And we're almost headed to the playoffs
Yeah,
Yeah,
playoffs are next
soon,
week.
right? Yeah.
Playoffs are
So,
next week.
anything you guys want to talk about in that regard?
I
I
mean,
guess just the wild card race.
yeah,
Yeah.
everything's basically set playoff matchups for baseball besides the AL wild card, which is decided between two teams are making it out of four teams separated by a game. So that's gonna be kind of wild this weekend.
So, who are those teams?
The Yankees lead it right now, and then it's the Red Sox. So right now it'd be Yankees Red Sox, and then you have the Seattle Mariners are third, and the Blue Jays are fourth.
Oh, that's pretty tough. Now, Dame, you being actually a Yankees fan, is this exciting for you? I mean, look, I think, um, the Yankees, what they have to do is just get in the playoffs because, like I've said this before, I think baseball playoffs are kind of like the most unpredictable playoffs of any sport. Actually, I know football is kind of just like a one match knockout type of thing, but like you could kind of get the sense of like who's gonna beat who, right? Whereas baseball, I feel like everything kind of resets, man. That's why I think if the Yankees actually make the playoffs, they're gonna have a good chance of winning it all. From an outsider's perspective, I don't know shit about anything. But Dame, these are your Yankees. How do you feel about the possibility of them actually playing the Red Sox in a wild card game? Talk to me about that.
Let me just make it clear that I am shocked that they're in this place after the way the season has gone.
They have been red hot though,
At
bro.
one point in the season, I really thought they were gonna miss the playoffs completely and not even be close to it at this point. But here they are, not only in a wild card spot by leading the wild card and going to host the first wild card game if everything stays as is. So I'm definitely shocked by that. And I predicted a couple weeks ago that they would face the Blue Jays in the wild card game, but I don't know. I think the Blue Jays' chances all comes down to tonight. The Yankees play the Blue Jays in the last game against each other for the season. I think if the Blue Jays lose this game to the Yankees, I think their chances at the wild card game are kind of slim. So that's gonna be interesting to see. But man, would I love to see the Yankees versus Red Sox in a one game, take it all wild card kind of game. Of course, I'd hope it'd be a Yankee Stadium, and I most likely would be going. I don't care how much the tickets are. It's just something I need to experience in my life. A Yankees Red Sox one game wild card game in the Bronx. Um, Let me give credit to the Seattle Mariners though. Like they've really came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They were pretty good during the season, and they kind of fell off with like kind of what everyone expected. But now they're half a game out behind the Red Sox for the second wild card game spot. Like that's exciting. Like for them and that city, like no one expected them to be here. They're about to have 90 wins. Like who knows if they will make it? But even if they don't, like that's something to be very happy about if you're a Mariners fan, if you're a Seattle fan, because
Yes, yes.
yeah, you're not a Seattle. I don't want to hear it. Just because your Mets are out of the playoffs for a while now doesn't mean you could change teams to Seattle now. But like I said, Seattle, no one expected them to be here. They have a great farm system. They have so many great young players on that team that they're just going to get better and better. So for them to have a 90-win season when no one expected it is a great thing for that team moving forward. But to just sum it up, I'm hoping the Yankees win because, like Chris said, like when the playoffs come, everything resets. It's like a whole new season. Like records don't matter. It doesn't matter if you underperform in the regular season to your standards. Doesn't mean if you overperform or underperform. Like the team you have is the team you're going in the playoffs with. Like it doesn't matter what you did before. So all these expectations that the Yankees had and how they kind of were underachieving about it, like no one cares about that. Like it's the team you had in April. Like those expectations are all renewed. So I'm gonna be really excited about that. I really do think they have a good chance at winning the World Series if they do make it. So I'm hoping they do. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting weekend coming down to these four teams.
Yeah, definitely stress inducing. And Jurg, like Yankees Red Sox, I think would be the ideal wild card matchup for baseball in general. Like I think it's just better for the sport if those two faced off under like important circumstances. I mean, Jurg, I know Dame's favorite team is the Yankees. I'm a Mets guy. I don't necessarily know who your favorite team is, but who are you rooting for? Like, if anything.
I don't really have like an allegiance when it comes to like baseball and football are the two sports I don't have a team for. I'm too emotionally invested in hockey and basketball to the point where I learned
I
in my
feel that.
teenage years like, look, if I have a team for all four sports, I might lose all my hair by the age of 24. I thankfully still have my hair at this point. Not 24 yet, but I still have my hair and we're getting close. So I've kept it. But no, for baseball and football, I just don't have teams. I'm more so a fan like you. I like to see the matchups that benefit the league or that highlight young players the most. So if we're talking about benefiting the league, you're 100% right. Yankees, Red Sox in a one-game wild card playoff. That might be the most televised baseball game
Yeah.
in the last decade. Like, that is not hyperbole. Especially if it's in Yankee Stadium, the coverage that game will get. You can put it on Tuesday night, Thursday night, Friday. It don't matter what night you put it on. You could put it up against dang near anything, and it'll do just fine. And honestly, it's perfect that the AL wildcard game would be on a Tuesday night if it is going to be in Yankee Stadium, because then there's no football you got to worry about. Basketball and NHL are both in the preseason / like training camp aspects of it. Like baseball would essentially run unopposed, and it would do outstanding ratings.
Yeah,
So
both wildcard games
for the
are
league,
Tuesday and Wednesday. Just to bring that in. The AL is Tuesday, I believe, and the NL is Wednesdays.
yeah, we already know the NL matchup is going to be the
Yeah,
Dodgers and the Cardinals. And when it comes to the AL, like Dame said, like it's all up in the air right now. So there's the one final game between the Yankees and the Blue Jays tonight that's really going to decide a lot. The Red Sox have one last game against the Orioles before they head into their final series of the season. To finish off, Seattle has 3 games against the Angels. Boston has 3 games against the Nationals. Yankees have 3 games against the Rays, and the Blue Jays' final series is against the Baltimore Orioles. So it's going to be really intriguing to see like how these teams perform over these last 3 games. I think obviously the Yankees have the toughest remaining 3 games. They're the only team facing someone who is a playoff team to this point, because obviously the Red Sox and the Nats. I have no idea why it's such a random 3 games. I don't know if that was originally how it was or if it was due
it's
to
so random.
COVID
It's so
early.
random that they're playing the Nationals and to finish the year. It's so
Part of
weird.
no, honestly, a part of me kind of thinks that maybe early in the season they lost the games due to COVID and they're just making it up at the end. I could be wrong, but part of me feels like it's that, because to have the Red Sox end it against the Nationals, like it's kind of rare for AL and NL to end it against one another. So, and especially because like everyone else is facing division foes, so it's weird, but nonetheless, that's the case there. So yeah, Boston has the Nationals. They you know they canceled their season essentially. Like they gave up quite a ways in. The same thing with the Mariners facing the Angels. Though the Angels, they have Otani and Trout, so those two are probably going to have at least one game where they each hit a homer. Otani, especially, he wants to try to solidify MVP like down pack. The Blue Jays, like them and the Yankees, this game means a lot more than it meets the eye, because the Blue Jays have the easiest final 3 games, while the Rays have kind of had their number a good chunk of the season, and I think this is a big stretch of games for them. Ultimately, like Dame said, at one point we thought they were going to miss the playoffs. Now, right now they're in control, but oh, how quickly destiny can kind of switch, right? So I think at the end of the day, well, you're going to get these last couple days of the season, which I'm very glad we're having. It's tension-filled baseball. It's entertainment. It is stakes. The games matter at this point. The whole plot of the Major League Baseball season, I always think of it like this. Games 1 through like 150 are, there. Games 151 to 162 is the palette, and then the playoffs are they're the main course, they're the meal, they're everything. So I think we're getting a good final couple games here to kind of satiate us, get us ready for the playoffs, and then we go. I mean, Dodgers Cardinals is going to be, I think, a low-key entertaining wild card matchup, because you have the powerhouse Dodgers, 102 win team as a wild card. How often does that happen? And the Cardinals have been the hottest team in baseball over the last month. So I just think that's pure entertainment. Like Dame kind of said, like, you look at the first round matchups in general, Tampa Bay waiting on whoever they face. Tampa Bay versus Yankees would be fun. The White Sox Astros, I think, will be a very entertaining playoff series. And then in the NL, you have the most likely the Giants. They still need to officially clinch the NL and the division, but they probably will. You got the Giants, who would face the wild card winner, which Giants Dodgers in round 1, or Giants Cardinals would be nice. And then the Brewers versus Braves, I think that's like a matchup that could go to 5 easily. So MLB it really is an entertaining playoffs, and it would just be perfect if game 1 of these playoffs is Red Sox Yankees. Fun fact to end my little rant about this. I heard this a couple weeks ago, actually. If the Red Sox are part of the wild card, this will be the first wild card game appearance in franchise history.
For the Red
Yeah.
Sox, you said?
Yeah. That's what I was told. That was the stat that was told to me. And how right would it be if their first time ever in the wild card game was against the Yankees?
And how great would it be if the Yankees won that? It'd be very good. It would make, I guess, 1/3 of this 2/3. I have nothing against the Yankees. It would make 2/3 of this podcast very happy.
I feel like Dame is mad right now. Chris is just trying to claim every team that's
No,
in the
no,
playoffs.
no.
Yeah. He ran with this stupid big brother shit all fucking year. Now that the Yankees are like 10 games ahead of the Mets, and the Mets have been out the playoffs for a couple weeks now. Now
Look,
he's like,
Big Brother,
I don't mind rooting for the Yankees.
Big Brother has been hurt this whole year, and Little Brother had to pick up
So
the
are
slack.
the Yankees.
Please. I need you to respect me real quick.
No.
Look, no, because there's evidence in the past before this podcast where the Yankees were like in the playoffs, and our mutual friends were rooting against them. I was actually with the Yankees, and maybe it's because like I'm not a
This
diehard.
year changed you.
Whatever, man. Business changes me. That's why the numbers. Yeah. I mean, look, parallel universe. I mean, it could happen. We're entering playoff zone, so
We're entering
like
the
anything could
multiverse.
happen.
What is this?
We're entering the multiverse. We're no way home type of antics. What if the Dodgers lose the wild card game?
Bro, it's not that like out of the realm that they're gonna lose. Like the Cardinals are the hottest team in baseball right now.
They traded for Arenado, right?
Yeah. But
Yeah,
they've won. They think they won 17 in a row. They just lost their first game yesterday. Like in
Holy
3 weeks or
17.
something like that. Yeah.
What is this, Moneyball? Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, no, honestly, the Cardinals is kind of to Dame's point. This looks like the kind of team that would make a run to at least the championship series for their league. Like
some Nationals shit, right?
You win 17 in a row now. You're about to go into the playoffs on a pretty hot streak. You're facing this Dodgers team. Like, here's the thing. Like you said, Chris, it's a 1-game playoff. Anything can happen. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Cardinals can upset the Dodgers, especially with how they're playing. That's why for the Dodgers, they made that Max Scherzer deal. Because without, Trevor Bauer in this lineup from about half the season, it feels like at this point, they knew they had to make a deal for this kind of scenario where they want Mad Max to be on the mound in that playoff game. Like, Max Scherzer was gotten for this reason, because of the chance that the Dodgers were going to be the wild card team. This is why. Like, you bring him in and you hope that he most likely will have, but has that kind of just one-time performance where he just absolutely dominates. And he's done that since he went to the Dodgers. Like, he's like, people are saying he could win the Cy Young. After how long? After like dang near the first half of the season where he was pretty good, but it did feel like the same Mad Max. He has just absolutely decimated the second half of the season for the Dodgers. Like, I think his first 5 starts, his ERA was barely above 1. Like, God, if that's how he performs against the Cards, whew, I feel bad for you, St. Louis. But yeah, no, it's an amazing 1-game wild card. Now, to your question, if they lose, like, to me, it doesn't matter because I don't doubt what they did last year. They won the chip. So they have they have the at least a championship with the core, but obviously the goal is for multiple. But I still think this team can contend. So I think if you're the Dodgers, it'd be a massive disappointment. But at the end of the day, it's all right.
Okay, all right. Well, Well, let's talk about Astros versus the White Sox. Now, Dame, I know you will be rooting for the White Sox heavy in this.
Oh, absolutely.
You want to comment on that? Go ahead.
There's nothing else that needs to be said. The Astros don't just
They're
as
cheaters.
the scumbags that they are, they don't deserve to be in it. Based on their performance, sure they deserve to be in it, but based on integrity, like as men, they don't deserve to be in it.
As men,
Yes,
just
man.
as soldiers. Yeah, yeah. Now, Dame, if the Yankees win the wild card game and they play the Rays, confidence level going into that series, what do we
My all right,
what are we at?
let me just pick paint out my perfect scenario for these playoffs. The
Okay.
Yankees play the Red Sox one game, they spank them in Yankee Stadium, send them home. They play the Rays, who've been talking shit all year. We beat them, and then we fucking play the Astros in the championship series. And without their fucking buzzers and their garbage can, we spank them, and then we go to the World Series. That would be I wouldn't even care what happens in the World Series because just based on the fact that we
Ah,
beat those three teams, like I'd be so happy that like a World Series loss wouldn't hurt as much
Hold on,
as it
I'll say,
would.
Dame, to your scenario, I gotta say this: if it's a loss to the Dodgers, okay, it's the Dodgers. But if you face someone else, like if you go that whole way, you're like, oh, we better win this goddamn World Series. Like,
Oh yeah, of course, but like to me, the fact that we can play the Red Sox, Rays, and Astros and beat all of them would be so like self fulfilling to me that oof, I would be a different kind. I'd
that's
have
your
to be a
World
different kind of
Series.
high. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
what
but
kind of
don't
high?
get me wrong though. I'd want number 28 as well. I'd be going hard, but I'm just saying that'd be a great scenario.
Sounds ideal. Sounds ideal. All right, let's go to the National League. Brewers Braves. Jurg, any comments on that?
just ultimately, it's funny because I was actually breaking this series down yesterday with my guy Bars,
Go shout it out. Go shout it out. What's
and
the plug it? Plug it.
guys, it's the Bunts and Bruises podcast, and my co-host James has been on our show a couple times. He is absolutely amazing, and on our most recent episode, which we recorded last night, and will be released, I think either when we're recording this or probably like when this video comes up as well. We broke down a little bit of some of these series towards the back half of the episode, and Brewers Braves came up, and essentially, the Braves have the ultimate 1-2 punch coming into this. No, excuse me, the Brewers have the superior 1-2 punch going into the series in terms of starting pitchers. And the breakdown Bars gave was it was simple, but it was true. Where he said, if you're the Braves, when you face the Brewers' top two pitchers this season, when you go up against the talents that they had this year in Burns and I believe Woodruff as well, even though his record is below 500, he's still been pretty good. His ERA is just barely above a 2.5. Like you got to split against facing those two guys. You got to beat at least one of them in the first two games of the series. I think for Atlanta, it's going to be all about if their offense can come alive and bother the Brewers' rotation. Because from what I know, the Brewers like bench has kind of been iffy because apparently one of their relievers decided to do his best Amari Stoudemire impression and punch a wall and or hurt his hand. So
It was a fire extinguisher. Sure.
yeah. Hey, wall, fire extinguisher, same thing. If you get that emotional and you break your hand come playoff time,
You're
you're just
stupid.
you're
You're an
just an
idiot.
idiot.
Yeah.
You're some would say a stupid idiot.
Oh, yeah. Shout
But
out Y2J. Yeah, yeah.
yes, but so it's really all about can the Braves offense just mash against the Brewers pitching? If not, the Brewers would actually take the series. But if the Braves can get their bats hot, which they likely can, uh, Atlanta probably would make it back to the NLCS, and it would be interesting to see if they do because I know they would love to see the Dodgers again because they want to try to get revenge against what the Dodgers did to them last year. So at the end of the day, like Brewers Braves, like I said, I think that series could go to 5. I just think those two teams are so similar, like pretty good starting pitching rotation, good hitters across the lineup. The difference, the sad part is for both these teams, this is kind of a true statement, but both teams are missing who should be their top players. Acuna's out due to injury, and Christian Yelich is playing, but he's just been so terrible this season. Like he's looked nothing like the NL MVP that he was years back. So both teams essentially it's kind of a level playing field, and I love those kinds of matchups because it really could go either way. And I hope that series like at least makes it to a game 5.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Dame, do you want to any comment on that before I move
Yeah,
on?
like basically, Jer said this is really a matchup between the Brewers' elite pitching and maybe the Cy Young Award winner and Burns versus Braves' great hitting. But like, let's give the Braves credit. Like they do have two really great starting pitchers that could win you any ball game with Max Fried and Charlie Morton. So that's gonna be interesting to see if they can perform in the playoffs. But I do think it's gonna be a really good series. These teams are both evenly matched. It's not favored one way or another. But yeah, another great series in baseball that I'm excited to see in these playoffs.
Nice, nice. And I guess our last, series to talk about, which would be the San Francisco Giants against the National League wildcard winner. I mean, I think the ideal matchup that would be, quote, best for business, as some would say, would be the Giants versus the Dodgers. But look, we don't want to sleep. We don't want to sleep on the Cardinals, of course. But now, say the Dodgers win this, we get a Giants Dodgers series. Dame, let me start off with you. What do we think about that series? And who are you leaning towards in terms of rooting for?
And a Giants Dodgers series would be great for baseball. These teams have been battling all year for that NL West division title, and even after the Dodgers traded for Scherzer and Turner at that deadline, like I forgot what the exact record is, but it's an insane record. And the Dodgers only gained one game in the division since that trade happened. So it's kind of incredible what the Giants been able to do, and so low key. You don't see them on Sports Center on these top 10 plays, or like everyone talking about them on the shows. Like you hear Dodgers LA, Mookie Betts, Cody Bellinger, this and that. Like the Giants are just they're like, okay, you could talk about the Dodgers all you want. We're just gonna sit here and keep winning. So that's definitely a matchup I want to see. Personally, I'm just gonna be rooting for the Dodgers because it's LA and it's big business. It's all these star players, but I would not mind the Giants winning at all because of how low key they've been doing it all year. They've been doing the right way. Good pitching, situational hitting, good managing. Like that team does deserve to win as well, but just personally based off, I guess, ratings and star power, I'd be going for the Dodgers.
I back in 2020 after the World Series, I said that I truly believe that all four champions had a chance to repeat. The Chiefs failed me, the Lakers failed me, the Lightning got my back. So I'm sticking with the Dodgers. I hope the Dodgers win the one-game wild card. I hope they do beat the Giants. Nothing personal, San Fran. Like Chris said, it's just best for business, aka my business and my fragile ego and self-esteem when it comes to picking games and winners. Yeah, no, the Dodgers Giants. I hope that goes to 5 just for the idea of 5 competitive games in the West Coast. Like that'd just be phenomenal. I think it'd be great for the Giants at the end of the day for the organization to bounce back like this. They've been in a rebuild for a good bit, and while I think they were going to be better, like I think a lot of us going in, Dame. We thought they were the definitive third team in the division and maybe compete with San Diego because we didn't know that San Diego would collapse the way they did. But they've shown that they can. I mean, technically they'll have the best record, but they are the second best team for sure in the division going into next season, like without a shadow of a doubt. And it's just something magical about it and how this team has been able to do it. And this team, like if this was an even year, we should all be worried because it was the even year Giants back in the 2010s that kept winning, right? So uh, at the end of the day, I hope for a competitive. Like I said, I don't have a team here. I want just pure competition. If all these series just could max out the drama or whatever, it'd be awesome. But I would have the Dodgers winning that series. But for San Fran, like, had a hell of a year, right? Like this is one of the best seasons in franchise history.
Just beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I have nothing else to talk about in terms of baseball.
Aaron Judge just hit a home run. Yankees up 1-0. All rise,
Nice,
baby.
nice. W. Shout out to our Yankees fans that listen to this podcast, that aren't Dame. But, yeah. I guess we can move on. What do you guys want to talk about? Baseball? I mean, basketball, football?
Want to talk about the
Football?
Bengals Jaguars? I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
so we are. No, I mean, no. Wait. Hold up. That's no. We are recording Thursday. We'll be releasing Friday. It's one of the main quotes of this podcast. But the not really a nationally televised game. I think it's on the NFL Network, right?
I mean, it's technically
Whatever. Yeah. I mean, if you're privileged enough to have the NFL Network, Dame, then you can watch this. You can watch this game. So we have the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Headline, of course, Trevor Lawrence versus Joe Burrow. These two squared off in the 2018 championship game.
I think it's 2019.
yeah, I think. Well,
2018
I don't
that
know.
long ago.
Look, we all have Alzheimer's basically, so it's yeah, we're Joe Burrow obviously won that matchup because LSU had arguably the greatest collegiate season in like college
Ju-
sports history, maybe. Well,
Justin
in terms of football.
Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. Was Clyde Edwards-Helaire on that team?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's four bleeping first round picks.
A lot of good players. A lot of good players to say the least. So yeah, I mean, has much changed going into this matchup? No. I mean, obviously the Bengals aren't LSU, but I think the Bengals are better than the Jaguars. Look,
I find it ironic both guys are still on teams that connote like a big cat. Clemson Tigers, LSU Tigers, Cincinnati Bengals, Jacksonville Jaguars.
well,
Like
yeah, nice catch there, Jurg. Yeah, I
they
would have
can't
never
escape
thought
it.
about
They
that.
can't
But
escape it.
look, I mean, I love both these quarterbacks. I love Lawrence. I love Burrow. The Bengals surprisingly are 2-1. I have them. Spoiler alert. I mean, you check out our Instagram page, SomeWhatSports, where we publish our weekly picks for the football games. Me and Jurg have the Bengals winning this. Dame, you stupidly have the Jaguars winning this week.
All right,
Do
we'll
you have
see.
any reason? Do you have a reason why you picked them, or is the primary reason that you just can't see them falling to 0-4?
Yeah, I just think
Yeah,
I just
I
think
fucking knew it.
anything people are too high on the Bengals as well after beating the Steelers. Like the Steelers suck. It's like relax, and these are two really bad teams, and I just feel like this is a good opportunity for the Jaguars to really get their first win when no one's really expecting them to. So I think this is the game that they finally win and maybe hopefully get back on track.
I can't lie, Jurg. I can't lie, Jurg. I think because of Zach Wilson's struggles,
Right.
maybe Trevor Lawrence struggling as well kind of makes it easier, kind of makes the pain easier to digest. But look, I still love Trevor Lawrence, but I think the Bengals are winning this game.
Oh, you're wrong.
Dude, do you want to say why? What was that, Dame? What was that?
Nothing.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I hear rappers opening. You eating chips, bro?
No, bro. Why would I be eating during the podcast?
I don't know. Not classy enough. Jurg, what do you have to say about this game?
It's just I find it ironic. Yeah, we're talking about this game that's happening tonight here. Just like I definitely get Dame's logic, but the thing is that I
No,
can
you
see
don't.
this
No, you don't. Stop
Jacksonville.
lying.
No, listen. I understand his logic because it sounds like teams shouldn't fall to 0-4. There should not be, technically speaking, if we're just
Unless
going
you're the
based
Jets or
off
the
of talent,
Giants.
there
Yeah.
should not be a team that falls to 0-4 ever in football. The problem is that it's bound to happen because football, like we talked about, it's supposed to be any given Sunday. Like that's supposed to be the slogan, one of the many slogans of the Shield. It's supposed to be any given Sunday a team can win. The problem is that's not really how it works because if you're bad, you're bad. And the Jaguars are just that. Like Trevor Lawrence is good. We all know he's good and can be good. It's just like there's just an issue going on in Jacksonville. Like the skill position group has not played up to what they at least should be doing this season at all. Joe Burrow looks a lot better in Cincinnati to this point. Like he, even with the injury, he looks more comfortable. Like say what you will about how banged up Pittsburgh may have been last week, the Steelers still had 0 sacks against the Bengals. I think I saw the stat. I think that was the first time in at least 60 games that the Steelers finished a game against the Bengals with 0 sacks. Like if that doesn't tell you, like like Dame said, the Steelers are terrible, but at the same time, the Bengals, like, they picked them apart in Pittsburgh. Like, to me, that matters. Cincinnati and Cleveland before this year never win in Pittsburgh. Never. My entire life of watching football, they'd never win in Pittsburgh, and maybe they win in Baltimore once in a blue moon or a blood red moon or something like that. Like, aside from that, they never do that. I'm not saying the Cincinnati team is going, like, I'm not going to ride too high on them like most people are, but I think they're going to be a lot more competitive than we're giving them credit for. I think they can beat this Jacksonville team because this Jacksonville team, like, it's not good. Like
They suck.
they're just not good. Although ultimately, what I'm really more interested in seeing and why I want the Jaguars to lose this game, does Urban Meyer make it the whole season? Because I'm really starting to doubt. I think, fellas, there is a chance that he goes the Bobby Petrino route and he finishes off the season, doesn't even make it to the last game, retires or stops coaching at like week 14. Like
Wow.
they're not good. They're just not good. This dude has never lost this much ever before. When was the last time he lost 3 games in a row in his life? Like it's just insane to me. So that's what I'm really interested to see. If the Jaguars cannot win this game, if they don't show any type of progress in this, then I think the future, the blueprint is in trouble with this team because I don't think Urban's staying for a team that's going to go 2-15 this year. I don't.
Well, I mean, I just looked at the Bengals schedule coming up. So they got the Jaguars today.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just assume it's a W. They go 3-1 overall. After that, they got the Packers. That's an L.
3-2.
And then you got like the Lions, and I think the second half of their schedule is really grueling. Let's not spoil picks because we still need Instagram followers.
Right.
And they got the Ravens, and then the Jets, and then
Right.
the Browns, Raiders, Steelers, Chargers, 49ers, Broncos, Ravens, Chiefs, and Browns. So I mean, there's some winnable games in there, but I don't know. I think this could be one of those at max, full potential here. Bengals go on like 6 to 7 wins, maybe, possibly. I mean, you got the Jets in there somewhere. If you could like beat the Steelers again, and then maybe pull off an upset against like not really an upset, but like maybe steal one of the two games against the Browns, maybe beat the Raiders. I mean, I don't know. Well, speaking of the Raiders, let's actually move on. 3-0, baby. None of us are actually Raiders fans, so I don't know why I'm getting hype about it. But I know
We don't know
Jurg
about
definitely
you.
thinks.
You like to
Yeah.
jump from team to team.
Look,
So.
I'll say this. If the Raiders, if the Raiders make the playoffs, wild card game, whatever. I think that new stadium and just Vegas in general, again, the theme for this week is best for business. I think the Raiders being in a wild card game would be pretty, pretty good for business, especially for football, especially with that new stadium. Look, I know Jurg definitely thinks they're a fluke of a 3-0 team, but I just think when you
I
take into
stand
account
by it.
everything, I mean, yeah, I mean, I there's like I don't blame you, but like I do think just when you take into account everything, their new stadium, the fans, Vegas in general, best for business, best for business. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about that?
I mean, like, if we're going by that logic, then we're gonna get a Rams Raiders or Rams and Chargers Super Bowl because the new stadium, the dollars, and all that. Like, it makes sense. Like, would the NFL love it if Vegas makes it to the playoffs? Absolutely, they would. Like, I'm not gonna doubt that at all. But we got to be realistic here, and it's not just the Raiders. I mean, we might as well just mention them too right now. The Broncos as well. Like, the Broncos don't
I
impress
actually like the
too. Like,
Broncos though.
okay, I'll admit I do kind of like the Broncos mainly because of their defense, but like the teams they faced are 0-9. Like come on now. And then when it comes to the Raiders, what is it? A dinged up Steelers team. The Ravens, I'm starting to have doubts about Lamar Jackson and Miami. No Tua, Brian Flores not knowing what the hell he's doing so far this season. Like I don't know. Like I'm happy for Derek Carr that he's not going to be put on the witness protection program like I thought prior to the start of the season. But at the same time, like I think we're right to still have doubts about this team because it's John Gruden in the modern NFL. Like something like the bottom of the barrel is going to come out eventually here. Like they're going to start losing, and when this team starts to lose, like do they have the fortitude to go against it? I don't know.
Dame, you have any comments on that, bro?
Well, I actually really like what the Raiders have been doing this season. I have been impressed with their wins. I know like the Ravens don't really look that good, and obviously the Dolphins. But I think they're gonna beat the. We already put out the pick, so I do have them beating the Chargers this week. I really like what I've seen with Derek Carr. I'm pretty sure he still leads the league in passing yards. Like the defense has been able to hold up. This has been without Josh Jacobs as well. I don't know if they're gonna have him this week, but regardless, it's always the next man up. And like Payne Barber rushed for 100 yards this week. In the last two games that they've won, it hasn't even been a big Darren Waller game. Like Darren Waller only had that big week one, and these last 2 weeks he's just been like okay. So they're just finding ways to win. So I'm impressed with that. This will definitely be a big game to really show if they're like for real or not because they are playing prime time Monday night against the Chargers in LA, I believe. So that's gonna be big to see. But I personally do like what I've seen from them, and I do think they're for real. But we're still to be seen if I'm proven right or wrong.
Okay, all right. We have some opposing views here. Any other notable storylines in the NFL? Oh well, yeah. I guess let's
Bucks
talk about it.
Patriots.
I was gonna actually talk about the Chiefs losing their second straight game, but if you guys want to talk about Bucks Patriots, I mean, is there anything to talk about that game besides Brady obviously coming back, Brady versus Belichick?
Well, doesn't he have a chance to break like one of the important records in that game?
All time passing record. I
Yeah,
think he's
like
gonna pass Drew Brees. It's
yeah,
kind of
he's gonna
crazy.
he does it against Belichick. Like that's just the ultimate. One middle finger has last year's Super Bowl ring on it. The other middle finger has the passing yards record against a Bill Belichick defense. By the way, there's a chance they get another Super Bowl. Like I honestly like you're kind of right, Chris. Like aside from the Brady Belichick factor, like the only reason this game will be more talked about is if it becomes a competitive game somehow. Which like I know all of us picked against the Bucks, but while I did pick Tampa Bay, like I'm 50-50 right now on if I think it's going to be a big blowout because look, this feels like the kind of game. Dame, tell me I'm not. This is the history of Bill Belichick here. This is the type of game that he gets this defense up for, and it's still
Oh.
J.C. Jackson, it's still McCourty, it's still Gilly Locks. Like there's a chance here that the Patriots, at least going into the fourth quarter, this is at least still a competitive game. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, like I picked the Bucks, of course. I guess that was just a safe pick, but like I would not be shocked at all if the Patriots somehow pull this out. Like who knows Tom Brady more than Bill Belichick? There literally isn't anybody. And of course, Bill Belichick always has the lead defense. He's gonna know how to scheme against Tom Brady. I know Tom Brady in a clip from his interview that's gonna come out on Sunday, said that like, oh, he knows how they're gonna prepare this and that, but like no one knows how to stop Tom Brady. No one knows what Tom Brady likes, what he doesn't like more than Bill Belichick after he spent 20 years with him in New England. So I'm sure Bill Belichick's going to be more prepared than for any other game this season, besides obviously if to make the playoffs. But don't be shocked if Patriots pull this one out in the end. It's gonna the only way they pull it out. Obviously, if it's like a low scoring game, they're not going to win a shootout. Like low scoring, like kind of like grind it out kind of game. Running the football, keeping away from Tom Brady, maybe a fumble or interception here or there. But don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if the Patriots pull this one out.
Don't be surprised. Yeah. I mean, look, if the Patriots win, talk about an early Super Bowl for
No.
Mac Jones. I don't know who I'll be rooting for. I don't really care. I just want a good game at least, but I don't know if I'm going to get that. But look, speaking of unpredictability, not really, but Chiefs lost 2 in a row. They lose to the Chargers this past week. Guys, we're not pushing the panic button, and we said we're not. But are they getting comfortable? Like there's a good chance the Chiefs might not lose another game this season because maybe they're just taking this to heart and they're just like, all right, we need to step up, we need to wake up. But well, I don't know. What did you guys think of like that Chargers L? Jurg, I'm gonna start with you.
That was the second career interception in the month of September that Patrick Mahomes threw at the end, and that was the second career loss Patrick Mahomes has suffered in September.
Mm.
Both of which in both stats have come this season. I mean, like here's the thing: there's two different ways to take this conversation. It's everyone trying to go into full panic mode, and it's what you bring up, Chris. Are they getting too comfortable? I think it's a fair point to say they're too comfortable. They deserve every goddamn right. The
Oh yeah.
Raiders and Broncos could go 6-0. The Chiefs could go 1-5, and I'm still gonna pick the Chiefs to win that division. Like they deserve it. Patrick Mahomes deserves it. Could you say that maybe like he needs to hunker down a little bit? He needs to be a lot more precise with the passes. Absolutely, I think it's a fair criticism. Like this team is not beyond hearing criticism, but for people to really like, there are some people that are actually starting to press the panic button, and it's just like, dude, like you guys have no idea what you're talking about. Like, just yes, the defense needs to clean it up, but it's also Justin Herbert. Like the Chargers, in order to win that game, had to convert a 4th and 9 on passing, and the reason they did that is because, oh God, Patrick Mahomes is on the other side of the football. Like, we're not going to risk a punt here. We would rather risk not converting this 4th down and keeping the ball away from him than just punting it to him and letting our defense handle it the whole way. I know to some people it may not make a lot of sense, but the Chargers essentially said, we don't want to just give him the ball. And that part to me makes sense because that's the fear the Chiefs have instilled in everyone. And it worked for the Chargers that time. Is it going to work next time? Is it going to work when the Raiders try it? Is it going to work when the Broncos get their crack? I'm not so sure. And when it comes to the Chiefs, like, look, they get their warm-up game. They got the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, there is no better game. Did you not see what the Cowboys did? I mean, I know Dame saw. Dame reported on it live for us. Like, somewhat sports in the NFL stadiums this year, boys. It's happening.
Just
But
winning.
at the same time, like the Chiefs are going to get their warm up game. They're going to get back into a rhythm, and they're going to go into the next 3/4 of their schedule. Like, all right, we got to understand, we got to clean this up. All right, let's do it. What you never want to do, you never want to remind the Kings that they have the crown. Like, I know they're not the defending champs in the NFL, but at least in the AFC, they are back to back. Why are we criticizing them so much to the point that we're going to remind them who the hell they are? Like, do you people not want them to try to figure this out more? But no, you're just going to criticize them more openly and make it be like, oh, no, I'm Patrick Mahomes, you're Tyreek Hill, you're Travis Kelce. Oh, let's drop 40 on these guys. Like, that's going to happen now because all you guys just had to say the Chiefs are going to be dead. So thanks, NFL media. Thanks for that.
I guess they have to just like to create storylines for something to talk about. So like you like start to make something out of I don't want to say nothing because they did lose 2 in a row, but any like type of crack, they'd be like, all right, let's take advantage of that. Let's capitalize on that. So then they're just like, well, are the Chiefs losing it? So I mean, they'll have something to talk about for the next few weeks until the Chiefs actually just go full rampant on everyone and just destroy the league. But we're not there yet. Now, Dane, before you express your thoughts, they did sign Josh Gordon this past week. Questionable signing, but it is the Chiefs. It's another weapon essentially. Dame. So, what do you think about that? And what are your thoughts on the Chiefs going forward?
As for Josh Gordon, I think it was a good kind of risk for them. Like Josh Gordon obviously is super talented. He just has a lot of off field
Crackhead.
issues.
What? Oh no, sorry.
Wow, that was crazy. But outside of Travis Kelsey and Tyreek Hill, like you can see that like these receivers really struggle to get separation and get open for Mahomes. So it's kind of like if a team takes away one of Travis Kelsey or Tyreek Hill, like you know where Patrick Mahomes is thrown, so he's thrown to the other guy. So hopefully, like they're hoping that they have something in Josh Gordon where he could kind of take the pressure off of that. Still to be seen. There's gonna be a few weeks before he's even game ready or in game shape to be able to play. I know Andy Reid mentioned that, but I think it's a good risk. We'll see what happens. Like they obviously need more defense and offense, but it is what it is. As for the Chiefs and their 2-game losing streak, like I'm not worried at all. They obviously had that Ravens game one. It's just a stupid decision to give it to Clyde Hilaire at the end instead of just giving it to Mahomes and letting him go down the field to put them in field goal range. Chargers game, like I just think the Chargers just beat them. Like you just got to give credit to the Chargers there. Like obviously, you as great as the Chiefs are, they should win that game. But all credit to the Chargers. Like you just have some games where teams just outplay you. Mahomes had his 3 turnovers, I believe. So it is what it is. But I'm not worried about the Chiefs, man. Like at the end of the year, they're still gonna be an AFC Championship, probably in the Super Bowl. Like if they lose this week to the Eagles, like come back and check with me next Thursday. But for now, I'm not worried at all. They're still the Chiefs, still the best team in the AL. I mean
Are you
AFC.
still in baseball? Yeah. Look, it's best for the NFL. It's best for business when you see Mahomes on top. It's just come on. We know he's the king, but there's another king in the NFC who is being threatened, though, as I have previously stated, because they're my picks to win that conference. The Los Angeles Rams.
Oh.
Jurg, what do you think? Do you buy the Rams as the number one threat to the Bucks? I mean, look, forget just the Bucks. NFC in general. I know it's early. I know it's kind of whatever, but I mean, like I personally think they're the team to make it out that conference. What do you think?
So before I get to the Rams, I will say this because I was muted and I couldn't react in the moment. What a ricochet shot at Josh Gordon! Holy hell, Chris! Like that
Sorry,
was out of the left.
my
My
bad.
God, like no, keep it in there, but just holy hell, that was crazy. Moving on from that, when it comes to the Rams, like no, I've been high on the Rams like for quite a while now. I believe I had them as my number one seed in the NFC West predictions that we did. I said from the moment the trade happened that Sean McVay finally got a quarterback on his team. This is the first quarterback he's had to work with in his career. I'm sorry / not sorry, Jared Goff. You're not that good. And he limited what the Rams offense can do. And when Todd Gurley got hurt, you saw how limited they really were when they didn't have a great running game. Now with Matthew Stafford, who can uncork it with the best of them, you're seeing what this team can do. Just a deep down there passing attack. You know how many people just learned that Deshaun Jackson was on the Rams this past weekend? Because of Matt Stafford and McVay and that team. Like, it's just absolutely insane. So yeah, I definitely I buy into this team as a legitimate contender. I would say top 2, top 3 teams in the NFC for sure. I think the more interesting argument is overall in the NFL, you want to say that they're a top 2, top 3 team in the league right now. I think that's where the conversation becomes way more interesting. Matthew Stafford's looked phenomenal, with the Rams ever since, as expected. Like the dude, he finally has a head coach. He finally has a deep receiving core. He finally has a healthy offensive line. He finally has good players on defense at more than just one position. Like life must feel so good for Stafford. Like it said, when you leave Detroit, life just gets better. And it's not only the case with the housing and automotive industries, it's the case with quarterback careers as well. So, yay Matthew Stafford, and yeah, the Rams, like even looking past the offense, the defense, man, like Ramsey and Donald, even if you don't think they've been at their best so far this season, which like Ramsey has definitely been pretty good and Donald's been solid. Like imagine when they both get into gear, imagine when they lock in, like that team is just scary, man.
Fact. All right,
Yeah,
Dame.
relax. I'm super impressed with the Rams and their performance this week. Like they just had the Bucks looking awful after the Bucks have looked so dominant. But the defense looked great. The offense obviously looked great. You see them adding a whole new dimension with Deshaun Jackson and the deep passing game. The running game looked good against the Bucks run defense, who's known as the best run defense in the league. I had the Rams obviously winning the division and being one of the contenders in the NFC, so I'm being proven right so far. I'm very excited to see what they are moving forward. I don't know who they played this week. I think is it Arizona?
Yes.
Maybe nice. So that's another. If they win that game, it's gonna be even more impressive. So it's definitely an in division matchup this week that there should be a lot of eyes on to really see for both these teams, for the Cardinals and the Rams, to see how they match up against each other. Knowing that both these teams are really hot. Both teams are undefeated, I believe. So it's gonna be a good matchup this week. But definitely impressed how the Rams are doing this season.
Yep. Yeah, I think we're all on the Rams bandwagon. I wouldn't even consider me a bandwagon jumper because I had them when they made that Stafford trade. I had them when they made that Stafford trade going far. I want to hear it. But all right, 46 minutes. You know what? How about we end with this? Jurg, you could hop on if you want. But Dame, look, we all predicted they'd be asked this year, and they are.
Wait, which East Rutherford team are we going to talk about here?
Let's talk about both of them then. Let's start off with the Jets. Look, I know they were projected to be ass, but I mean, Dame, are they as ass as you thought they would be, or are they kind of worse than what you expected?
I can't really make that judgment yet because they have played three of the best defenses in the league so far.
True.
So maybe kind of get back to me after this week after they played the who did they play?
The Titans.
The Titans, but like the Titans
next week they face the Falcons.
They face the Falcons in London, I believe, as well. So that would definitely be a more of a judgment game that game. But I definitely expect them to look better this week. The Titans defense isn't that good. They're bottom 10 defense, I believe. Like, do I expect them to stop Derrick Henry? No, I'm just talking about solely based on their offense and Zach Wilson and that line, which was supposed to be improved, but doesn't literally look like it, even without Mekhi Becton. So checking with me after this week, but so far I really can't make a judgment whether they're better than I thought or worse than I thought because they have played three of the best defense in the league. So we'll see what happens after this week, and obviously against the Falcons, that would be an even bigger testament.
But also, I mean, they're definitely not going to stop Derrick Henry. No one really can. But questionable are Julio Jones and AJ Brown. So I mean, look, bettors, this may be one of those surprise games. Don't
I won't be surprised if they just win this game. Pull this one out.
I would love it, man. Like, let's get Wilson some confidence, man.
Yep.
Just a little bit of hope. Jurg, you want? I mean, you don't have to like go too in depth with it, but
I hope that they beat the Titans because I absolutely I absolutely despise that organization, and I have become someone that just roots. I don't want to root against him, but like because so many people I know hype him up more than he really deserves. Like I like seeing Ryan Tannehill lose. I just do. So I would love it. I would love if the Jets would beat them. Like I would just love it. Like here's the thing. I want both. I want Derrick Henry to rush for 300 yards, but I want the Jets to win. I don't know if that could happen, but if it could, I would love to. It would just be ironic. I would just love to see it personally. I can't say too much about the Jets because I think kind of like to your guys' point, Mekhi Becton got hurt, so Elijah Vera Tucker. I don't know. You guys have watched the games where have they been playing Vera Tucker at left tackle or is he still a left guard?
Left guard. Yeah,
he's been pretty. Yeah, he's been
What
pretty.
The bloody
lost.
hell is he not playing? It's whatever. It's just I think it's injuries. I think just this team, it's needed time. I think Zach Wilson coming into it, him and Trey Lance were the two that needed the most time to ingratiate into NFL offenses. I really do. And like here's the thing, kind of like you said, Chris, like just let Zach Wilson build up his confidence. Like just keep letting him play like that. If you're that team, you need to do where Adam Gase failed. You need to continue to nurture your young quarterback. You need to continue to support your young quarterback. I don't care how many bad games he throws. I don't care if he throws 2 more interceptions. Like you need to always be there for him. I think for the Jets, there's reasons why you could say they've been this bad to this point, right? And like Dame said, they've only faced good defenses so far. So like a rookie quarterback against what to this point is 3 of the top 8, top 9, whatever defenses, like I'd be highly impressed that they would have a win to this point. But the other team, my God, the Giants.
Good segue. What a giant disappointment they've been. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, cringe joke number 1. That's it.
No, it's not cringe. It's understating just how much of a humongous joke this team is. Like, I have a list of coaches that I would fire at this point of the regular season definitively, and Joe Judge is one of those coaches. What are you there for? Like, the whole rah-rah, all this crap when it comes to that doesn't work when you're losing. And what are you doing right now? You're losing, dude. Like, you can't... The fact that there was a fake story after week 1 that Joe Judge was so mad that either at halftime or post-game he had them go back to run. Again, that was a fake story. But the problem is that we all believed it for a good, 24 hours before it was proven false. This organization, like John Mara, there was a joke that I don't know if he punched or if he kicked like a trash can, and everyone was like, owners abusing their players should not be happening, in the league. Someone needs to step in because they're so bad.
They're trash. Yeah.
They're so bad. Like, I forget, who did they lose to in week 1 again? They lost to
The Broncos.
The Broncos. Okay, so them, this was before we knew how good this Broncos defense was on the field. So it's like kind of 50-50 there, and Daniel Jones fumbled it again. Then they screwed up with the offside penalty at the very end of the game, doing the most Giants thing possible. And then against the Atlanta Falcons, you retire Eli Manning's jersey, and it turns out the offense retired for the night as well after halftime. Because how did you lose to the Atlanta Falcons? How? You made Matt Ryan look like a semblance of what he was a couple years ago. Like, just no, dude. No, that organization is bad. Daniel Jones is not the answer. The defensive backs, who I thought were the strength of the team, they've looked kind of bad in spurts this season. Like, what is going on with that team? Like, they're the ones, between the Jets and the Giants have the least amount of excuses.
That is true. You know what? And Dane, before you go, I do want to say this. We shit on him a lot, but he actually has been decent this season. I think Daniel Jones hasn't been that bad. I know he's like the go-to target in terms of like Giants, ass cutting, but it's him and the O line. But I don't know. I feel like the blame shouldn't be entirely on him this season so far. Dame.
Daniel Jones, obviously he hasn't been bad, but like this team is just bad. The defense is bad. Offense isn't great. But the defense, I think, is the biggest part because of how much assets and money is put into that defense. All the cornerbacks. Leonard Williams resigned to that massive deal. I know they lost Blake Martinez for the year, but regardless, I don't know. The defense to me is the biggest issue there because of how much they have invested into it. But I never expected the Giants to be good this season. But as a Giants fan, I would be nervous because this was kind of that make or break year, not only for Daniel Jones but for the coaching staff and the general manager as well. This could be the year that they fire the general manager, and once the new general manager comes in, he's going to get rid of the coach. He's going to draft a new quarterback, especially with a high draft pick that it looks like the Giants are going to have. So this could be a very big offseason for the Giants trajectory going forward for the franchise, coach, GM, and quarterback.
Yeah, just a bunch of storylines. But, I mean, all right. I guess there's nothing else to talk about in terms of football that's, like, newsworthy. 53 minutes in. You guys want to talk about some NBA stuff? And then we'll wrap it up. We go with that? All right, no answers? I guess so. So,
yeah, sure.
the preseason starts next week. Tuesday, I believe. Monday or Tuesday. And then I think, how long till the actual season starts? 2 or 3 weeks? 3 weeks, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
3 weeks, actually. So just a plethora of news. I think 95%, as of today, Woj tweeted this, 95%, and you're including the first dose. 95% of the league is vaccinated. And then you have your all NBA unvaccinated team with Kyrie Irving, Bradley Beal, Michael Porter Jr., Jonathan Isaac, and who else am I missing? I know Dwight Howard somewhere in there. Yeah. Oh wait, yeah. Wiggins. How could I forget Andrew Wiggins? So these are the clear idiots of the NBA. They're at the front line of it. I don't want to comment on it. I've already been angry enough. Why? Why do I have to waste my energy on just stupid idiots? Kyrie. Is anyone in this podcast surprised that Kyrie's pulling this shit off? No. No. I'm glad they're losing money. They deserve to lose that money. And Wiggins is getting wrecked because he tried to use religion as an excuse. And then that got denied, and I'm glad because when did Wiggins become a religious fanatic over here? Dude's reading the Bible on the side or something. No, bro. The only person in the NBA that I could see being granted a religious exception would be Enes Kanter because we've seen him actually do shit when it's Ramadan or he's not eating during the playoff series and all that.
Yeah.
he's in tune with his like religion. But Cantor got vaccinated, so I mean, yeah, shout out to Ennis Cantor. I'm just kind of annoyed at these dudes. I'm not gonna really talk about them. I've spent enough energy off mic just complaining about them, and for what, you know? Ben Simmons. Let's talk about Ben Simmons. He's not shown up to training camp. Joel Embiid has, you know, said some comments that have been very revealing of his thoughts of the situation. I think the first 2 days he's been very, you know, tame, and he's been very like, you know, corporate about it, saying, "Yeah, we're a better team with Simmons," and you know, maybe they are. But then I think today he was just like, I don't know if you guys saw these comments, but today he was just like, you know, a lot of the moves that we made towards the roster were because of him. Like we got Al Horford and we got rid of Jimmy Butler for him, so the ball could be in his hands. And then he said getting rid of Jimmy Butler was a mistake. Like it's starting to get personal, I feel like. And but also those are the thoughts that we've also had for a while now. Like getting rid of Jimmy Butler was a mistake. Ben Simmons reportedly did not want him on the team because, you know, Ben Simmons, you know, do we keep PG or being a little bitch? Of course, he couldn't take what Jimmy Butler was, couldn't take his leadership, for lack of a better term. Jurg, I think you would know the term. I don't
Didn't want
know.
to work hard enough. He just
Didn't want to work.
didn't want to work
He
hard enough.
had Cat and Wiggins syndrome, so obviously he didn't like being, you know, told to do things better. So he was just like, nah, I don't want him. So obviously they chose Simmons' side for this one. And I don't know, man. It's this is so weird. I wonder when he's gonna get traded. I wonder who he's gonna get traded to, because obviously, clearly, no one's breaking their back to be like sending four first round picks for him. So I'm thinking Minnesota or Sacktown. But yeah. Any of you guys have any comments on this? Jurg, you want to start off?
The whole ordeal of Simmons has just been like fascinating to me because
He's a
I
bitch, bro.
I like I the one point from his side that I can understand is that the organization, I feel like they made it clear they didn't want him anymore. And you could say like that is predominantly his fault, and I'm not going to argue it. Like that's not what I'm here for. I understand the idea of the organization. If you think they don't want you anymore, why should I now be the professional one when I don't think you've had my back professionally through this, and you want me to report to camp when you wanted to trade me the whole damn time? Like, that's not on Simmons. That's on Philadelphia for not getting a trade done. And they've had ample offers, ample negotiations that they tried to get more for. And while I have been on the side of I think Simmons is a lot better still than some people are giving him credit for, you like Philly, this is on you that he's still on the team and that you're dealing with this. Had you traded him in the offseason, this wouldn't be happening. So in terms of the current situation that he doesn't like, just on the idea of he doesn't want to be around the team anymore, that's on Philly. That's predominantly on Philly. I can't put that on Simmons. The only thing I don't like is him not wanting to meet with his teammates, or I
Yeah.
guess soon to be former teammates, because I feel like he should have allowed them to come there and should have just spoke to them like, look, guys, I like appreciate you guys coming out for me. Like, understand this has nothing to do with you guys, but I don't want to be a part of this goddamn organization anymore. Like, I don't feel that they've had my back this entire time by hook or by crook, and I just don't want to be here. I think his teammates would understand that. Like, even if they would try to get through to him, like that they want, if they would want him there, I think he makes it clear. Like, the coach doesn't trust me, the organization doesn't want me there. The city definitely, like, the city's going to be sending him death threats if he returns, whether he does or
Oh, Jurg,
that.
I think when he comes back, to whoever he gets traded to, when he comes back, security better amp it up, because I think
Oh yeah.
there's gonna be some serious danger there.
He's going to need a bodyguard 24/7 when he returns to Philly. So at the end of the day, like I don't like that he didn't meet with his teammates, because I'm always like, I want the players to be there for one another. You know, it's a brotherhood. But in terms of him in the organization, like, I can side with him a little bit to where it's like, look, you want to get rid of me, then bleep and get rid of me. Why am I supposed to be the professional now? I always hate this. Why does the athlete need to be the professional 24/7, and the team the entire summer has been like, oh, we don't want him? Like, so get rid of him. If you don't want him, get rid of him. Like, enough with that. So that's where I see it.
I don't know,
Yeah,
but Simmons is not excused in this one. Jurgen, I know you're not saying that, but also like he's been.
But trade him then. Like, if you don't
Well,
like
no,
his stuff,
Philly's
all
being
good
very
boy, you have
stubborn
to
about that.
trade
Philly's
him.
being very stubborn about that because
Like,
they're
that
just
part's on
high in
Philly.
demand. No,
Yeah.
that is on Philly. It's just like, yeah, I mean, like you're making it worse at this point. Like at this point, you're gonna get some like, you know, really mediocre package. I mean, you're gonna get something because it is Simmons, and he's a really good player. But it's stop with the expectation that you're gonna get 4 first round picks, a CJ McCollum attached to that, like a really good center or whatever, or like a wing shooter. It's just like just take your Malik Beasley, take your Patrick Beverly, take your 2 first rounders, call it a day, or take your Buddy Hield and your Marvin Bagley and 2 first rounders and call it a day. That's it. You're not gonna like come on now. And Buddy Hield isn't even that bad for them. I think he'd be a solid addition for Philly. But Dame, go ahead.
I mean, I don't have much to say because I'm just sick and tired of this whole story. Like, this trade should have been done so much long ago. Like, training camp's about to open, preseason games about to start. Like, this should have been handled weeks ago, if not months ago. Like, Ben Simmons doesn't want to be there clearly, and clearly Philly doesn't want to be there. Like, they made that clear in the beginning of the offseason with all these rumors and stuff, shopping him around. But like, I think they're both in the wrong the way Ben Simmons has kind of acted towards his former teammates. Not wanting to meet with them or anything. Like, just be a man, meet with them, and just be like, listen, like, this isn't the situation for me, blah, blah. Like, listen to their pitch. Maybe they will convince you, maybe they won't. But I think he's wrong for not really meeting with them. And Philly's just like you said, they're just being stubborn and not trading him. And, like, they're just making it worse on themselves the longer they take because these new players have to come in after he does get traded because it's inevitable he's going to get traded. Like, they're not going to bring Ben Simmons back. They're not going to sit him. Like, they can't afford to sit him and not get anything back for him because they are a championship contender and they do want to kind of maximize Embiid's prime here, but they need to bring in these new players that they trade him for and kind of get them acclimated to the system in the city. So they're really hurting themselves on this at this point. But I do think Ben Simmons is in the wrong. One, because he just sucks. Let's get that out the way. Like, he's
All right.
terrible. And then second of all, I just think he's being immature about it based on the fact that he doesn't want to meet any of his teammates.
Well, Jurg, Dame thinks he sucks, bro. So
I mean, like, he's a 25-year-old defensive player of the year candidate. Like,
Oh, he
like
can get better,
get,
but
like,
offensively, I just think he really cost the Sixers a lot of wins. In the
oh no, I
playoffs.
agree. Like, I'm just saying, like, I get that Philly wants something back for him. Like, they shouldn't trade him for pennies on the dollar like certain teams do with their former first round picks, Jacksonville. But at the same time, like, if you're Philly here, like, just get what you can get. Like, kind of to your point, Chris. Like, there was a trade earlier in the offseason. It was like Brogdon and 2 firsts for
that's
Simmons.
looking that offer's looking way better by the day.
Yes, it does, but also, like, if you like, here's my thing: if you want to add a shooter in that deal, like, if you just want to ask for a shooter, like, I don't think that's out of the question for Philly to do. Like, if you want to ask for way more, like a 3 first, no. But if you say, look, Brogdon 2 first, and can you give us one of your role players who could shoot like 37% from 3? Like, I take that if I'm Indiana. Hell yeah, I'd love that deal. So I think they just need to retrace their steps. Like you said, maybe go back to Sacramento, get Buddy Hield, some firsts, like one more player, like just stuff like that. Because at this point, if you're Philly, like, this situation is, it's more toxic than a New York City high school relationship, and that's saying something.
All right. I think they're looking for a point guard. I think that's what they're looking for, but I don't know who could you get. Like maybe D'Angelo Russell, but I don't know how likely that is because like if you give up Russell, then what does that say about like your commitment to Towns? So I don't know. There's a bunch of things they could go after. There's not a bunch of things they go after. They're kind of stuck now. I feel like they're. What if it's like a team that's like out of like nowhere, like the Spurs or something? Can't see that
Pop with Ben
happening.
Simmons, oof, like that.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants to deal with that nonsense.
To end his career with Ben Simmons.
I mean, you know what? I know there's smoke towards it, but him for Kyrie would really be perfect if you think about it. Like, yeah, you're giving up a head case for another head case, but you
Well,
get
no,
your point guard.
Chris, you'd love that deal because you, like, Kyrie said he'd likely retire. Like, we'd get Kyrie out the league. I think you would want that.
Yeah, it would, but like that's how I know it wouldn't happen because Kyrie's, he's saying he's like, no, I wouldn't do that, but it's like, no. I think Kyrie, if he were to get traded this season, he would play out this season, retire the next, just to be like, well, I mean, I didn't do it right away, right? And it's just like a smart guy, Kyrie, just better than all of us. Yeah, I mean, at the light of that tunnel, maybe Kyrie does retire after this season. I'd be so freaking happy. So would Dame, low-key. I think I'm just more vocal about it.
Tomorrow.
I mean, I would.
Sooner the better.
True. Get that garbage out the league. All right. I guess that's it for this week. The Lazy River episode now concludes. Maybe we'll be back next week with more interesting stuff. Who knows? Maybe Ben Simmons will get traded. Maybe Kyrie Irving gets vaccinated. Maybe the Jets get the first win. All unlikely. All 3 of those.
Which one is more unlikely? Which one is the most unlikely?
Jets first win. Jets or Giants first win.
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie vaccinated or Ben Simmons trade. What's more unlikely? Kyrie vaccinated. I'm probably with that.
Yeah, that's the most unlikely one.
Jurg?
I agree. I was hoping for the punchline.
What was the punchline?
Oh no, I was hoping to say the punchline that you would think about the Jets, and then I would say Kyrie, but that works all the same.
I mean, look. What if the Jets and Giants? You know what? No, screw it. No expectations. All right. Jurg, where can they find us on the socials, bud?
At SomeWhatSports on IG. We keep growing. We're going to put our predictions up every single week, and you guys can keep tabs on how we're doing. Apparently, I won week 3, so yay me. I hope Chris has the total number somewhere because I've lost track.
So Jurg has 2, Dame has 1, I have 0 in terms of just wins for predictions.
Nice. So I won week 3 by the skin of my teeth. Me and Dame have been going at it so far. Chris has been close.
No, I've been ass.
So at the end of the day, you want to make sure you keep checking it out to see how we're doing, to see how we're going to, be on these episodes. The mood of how we do is definitely reflected in the episodes, without a doubt. But at the end of the day, SomeWhat.sports. Make sure you guys follow us. We're definitely I think we're gonna probably start some story polls again pretty soon.
Yeah.
For the big time NFL games for certain, and other stuff as well. Coming up soon. Like I said, fall of 2021, Somewhat Sports Podcast will rise, boys.
Yeah, they're just beautiful. Yeah, look at that. Edgar Allan Poe here with that crazy wordplay. But look, NBA starting soon, so, stuff is bound to happen, right? So yeah, that'll be it for this week. To all our listeners, we appreciate the hell out of you. Thank you so much. Jurg and Dame, excellent as always. And until next time, peace.